There go, Simon.
Good afternoon, class. Welcome to the GTA Working Podcast. Today we are a little short-staffed as Jason the Brown is on sabbatical.
Well then.
Today I have Adrian the Blue and Matt the Gray here, and I don't know, call me like, I don't know, who pisses you off more, Mary or Pippin?
Actually, there's supposed to be two blue mages.
Yes.
Or two blue
Oh,
wizards.
I didn't even know
yeah.
the other one.
Yep.
I didn't.
So you're with me. So it all equals out apparently.
Okay. A little off topic, but I'm still reading the Lord of the Rings.
Good for you.
On the first book, and I'm at the part where they just got to Lothlorien or something.
Yeah.
I'm butchering.
Yeah.
Lothlorien, yes, they just got to Lothlorien. Gandalf held off Balrog. What?
Lothlorien.
Yes, they just got to Lothlorien.
Yes.
They just got to Lothlorien.
The blue wizard.
Legolas is going up the tree with Frodo.
Yes. The blue. I don't think the
wait.
blue wizards are ever even mentioned there. I think they're only mentioned like in the Silmarillion.
Yeah. Or in the appendices.
Yeah.
One way or another. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the brown wizards was mentioned.
Well, there's only Radagast and Brown.
Yeah, he was mentioned once, if I remember correctly, because he was passing a message from Saruman to Gandalf.
Yeah.
Anywho, back on topic. So today's class.
It's fine. You know what? It's fine. We're allowed to have some sort of off-topic stuff, whether it's at the beginning or at the end. Just to have other people see what ticks into our brains every now and then.
Not much, apparently.
Well,
right at the beginning on the Gundam show, and so they can what the hell's this?
Yeah, I know. So
well, it's still
Lord of the Rings right off the bat.
We're in the realm of possibility here.
Yeah.
I love.
I'm literally fiddling with the entry grade strike right now while we talk about this.
Well, okay, so what's the title of today's topic, Simon?
Well, I don't recall a title, I'll be honest. I didn't really think of a title, just more like a topic. Like, you know when you guys build, like, say you're working on like a long haul build, you're building you kit from scratch, you open up your kit, you have your little tools and everything set up. Okay, what else? What else is going on besides just the build? Like, some people play music, I play random YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm dumb enough to somehow build and play video games and watch a video at the same time. Don't ask me how.
Well,
That's my...
Well,
let me do me, thank you.
Yes.
Or like I'll have some sort of snack or beverage, one could say.
Beverage.
Move my lamp out of the way.
Beverage.
Like, what's your situation like?
Well, the title is "What's Your Build Setup?" You actually wrote it originally, and we ran with it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then what leads to absolute chaos or like success?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So since I brought it up, you want me to go first, or should we let the gentleman go first? Okay, so what I used to do. Okay, so my build setup has changed over the years. So in the very beginning, back when in the before times when we could still go to the hobby shop and hang out and shoot the shit, and watch the same movie about the drill.
The drill.
Over and over.
Oh
again.
yeah.
All the time. Yeah. Anyways.
We might soon go back to that. Hopefully. hopefully.
It's gonna be weird seeing each other's faces again.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Anywho. So what happened was that I used to just basically, because we had the giant table at the hobby shop, I would lay out all the runners alphabetically. Yeah. So I'll be knolling, essentially. Knolling isn't a term where you organize stuff based on a certain, parameter, like size, type, piece, whatever.
If you want how Lego builders just separate each and sort each individual piece into whatever before they actually start.
Yeah. So actually, I learned about knolling by watching an Adam Savage testing video.
Okay.
While he was building a Lego.
Oh wow.
With Norm.
Yes. Reference.
Funny enough.
Reference is relatable. Nice.
Yeah. So I learned about knolling through them. So knolling was actually a term. Fun fact, history lesson. Knolling. I don't remember the name. I think the janitor's name was Knoll. His last name.
Gnoll.
And a janitor created this system called something knolling, and then like it just took off for the builder community or anyone who organizes everything to Kingdom Come.
Okay.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it's Knoll.
Oh, okay. And I was like,
so
I had to look it up first time I heard of it, so I learned a new thing. Thank you.
Oh. I actually thought you'd know something about like something like that, Matt.
Yeah, Matt, we thought.
Yeah, you of all people.
Well, you know what? I know I do this stuff. I just didn't know that there was an actual term for it.
A term for it? Well, you must feel recognized now.
I'm pleased to learn something.
Well,
yes, there is a term for what I do for my psychoticness. Yes. Anyways,
to your madness.
There's a method to your madness. Anyways, so knolling, I would literally knoll my runners. So I'll put it all alphabetical. The only runners that I would just cut out and set aside, or just have right with me, are either I'll just cut out the beam effect parts and throw them in a plastic bag because I'm just like, whatever. They're beam effect parts. They're not going to be part of the actual kit unless I'm displaying it actively. I just cut out the beam effects, put them in a bag like this, like the Nightingale. Label the bag. Any stickers, all in here, spare extra parts. And I would have the polycap runner with me at all times. And I would lay out the manual, build on top of the manual, and then at the end of the build, I go like this to the manual and pour it into a garbage bin because all the nubs would generally collect there. What I do at home is a different story because I don't have that big of a table. I would layer the runners in alphabetical order, leaning like this in a box here. I put a box here so to catch as many nubs as possible, and have the manual here, and build like that. So there was a system. However, also besides said system, there's also you get hungry, get thirsty, you need some sort of entertainment besides staring at the freaking manual. You want some background noise, so I don't know, play some YouTube, some anime I've already watched.
So you're in front of your computer at home, basically, which is what you're saying.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, even at the hobby shop back then, I would bring headphones all the time.
Wow.
And a portable battery.
I don't think you used them after you started meeting with us.
Especially when I was painting. Yeah. And when I was painting, though, I would wear headphones and like have like a video playing or music playing. So while I'm painting, I have some entertainment. Besides, for me, you guys, I would just like build like that at the store. But I would be playing like random YouTube videos, random Netflix, whatever.
I remember watching Long Man on the Long Man commercials.
Oh my God. Yes. Great love story.
So good. So good.
If you haven't watched the Long Man commercials, guys, go on YouTube right now. After this, actually.
Yeah.
There's been multiple accounts which have compiled all the commercials into a nice, neat little concise video.
Yes, there has.
You're welcome. So, I would have like, I don't know, I would drink out of bubble tea. Usually bubble tea because the most weeb shit I could think of, like building.
Well, I remember back then we also had a had a fridge there, so and we used to get like Monster Energy drink. Super bad.
No, Monster was a later addition. They used to have. I remember when Baldwin, the owner of the hobby shop, Baldwin, you put in Kool-Aid. Oh, I was so excited.
Yeah, the little Capri Sun things.
Cup noodles and ice cream at one point. They had like Malona ice bars and cup noodles.
We thought Brian was living there. He actually might be. I don't know.
Well, he's working part-time now, actually.
I know.
He doesn't work full-time anymore.
Yeah, I know. He's been starting up something new, which we fully support.
And we've been supporting him by providing him parts.
Yeah, no kidding. I actually left him the Barbatoros so that he can actually see if he can make the Centaur pieces.
Oh, you finished it?
No, I just gave him the kit. I was like, you think I'd open that thing? Like 80% of all the stuff I have is like still in their plastic bags.
Damn.
So.
Ditto.
Yeah. I usually make it a point for the kit I'm going to build next. I take it out of the plastic bag, so that forces me to actually have to go grab it and build it.
See, I take the kit I'm building.
Yeah.
I open it up. The first thing I do is write the date inside the box top.
Oh no.
Yep. That's my
Oh, that's your motivation?
Yep.
That's your negative reinforcement motivation.
Yep. He just opens the box. Fuck.
Oh, this is 20 years old. Ah, crap. Yeah. Actually, we do have one.
I had hair back then.
Ooh. Oof.
Sorry.
Oof.
But yeah, like also I learned I would grab random snacks when I build too, so I didn't even know whatever the fuck was in front of me. The problem is though, I learned very quickly I shouldn't eat certain things because greasy fingertips.
Yep. Yeah.
One time I was eating a freaking quesadilla while building.
Oh, that's bad.
Not smart.
Like a whole ass quesadilla.
Well, we were eating McDoubles. Well, we were eating McDoubles there at one point too. That was a good day. That was a very good day.
Or we had chips, whatever.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I generally always, like, I would take a break and eat something at Panda and then go wash my hands and then come back to building. But
yeah, we would normally, sometimes our break wasn't even to buy food, we just walk outside and talk shit with the workers.
Actually, I get you one better. I go to the build room and not build.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I do.
Yeah, I remember we used to, half the time, we would just sit in the build room, and since we weren't building, Baldwin wouldn't charge us anything. Either way, it was just $5.
Yeah. Well, we were also, some of us were also admins back then too, so we got, yeah.
Well, I wasn't even admin back then. I just walked in and I'd be like, hey, I'm gonna say hi to people in the build room. There's at least Matt and Wacky in there. That's a guarantee.
Yeah. Well, I had a annual membership. I basically bought the annual membership
before the GTA stuff. It's the same here. I actually wanted to get the T-shirt too.
I think I still have a locker there.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I haven't
paid for the locker months.
Months, years, I would say.
2 years.
2 years at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. There's a whole mega-sized Zaku in there.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I just remember it's like if I actually did bring something to build or I bought something to build, everyone would just be like, "What the heck's going on? This guy's actually working for once."
Damn. You know what, guy? If anyone's watching, just a heads up. I think we should change how the description of this podcast. Topic. Staying on topic is not guaranteed. We should put that as a disclaimer.
No, I think this happens to all podcasts.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Essentially, is we just like I think all of us would just like sit there, build, snack.
Yeah, it was just a good hangout place. Right.
Yes. Everyone will stop building when someone dropped the part. We all get on all fours with our phone flashlights on and start digging around the dark gray carpet.
Yep.
Actually, one of the things I can't wait to do when we go back is we could actually, for our D&D stuff, we could do an actual area. Like an actual area.
That means I have to get a gym sniper. That means I have to get. No,
it depends on what we get next, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying I have to get a gym sniper too. I don't have a gym sniper. All I have is a Zaku.
Okay.
Zaku 1
well,
sniper.
Who knows? We might be getting Zakus. It's fine.
Yeah.
Anywho.
You'll be probably changing mobile suits
quite often.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, not quite often, but you know.
Well, I have a couple of gyms lying around. I could probably turn one to a dirty.
Probably whatever's close enough. Sniper. I'll even bring an SD.
Yeah. I'll bring in a gun tank.
Yes, gun tank. Okay.
No, I'll bring the death beast.
Oh, jeez. Matt, would you like to describe what your
so it's all once again it all depends on time and place and in Panda I had I think whatever dollar store I bought that $2 about yay long little plastic box with basically just carried all my tools in it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's just I think it was about 10 inches long and about 3 inches wide.
Yeah.
And I actually still have it on my table now because a lot of my tools are still sticking in, and it's just like I just leave them there.
Mm-hmm.
I have my old yellow toolbox here, which I put all my tools in too, right there.
I would also bring my. I really liked the box from my iPad because it's really thick and sturdy, and it's like I got it back in like 2014 or whatever, and the box is still in great condition. And I'd have all my like drills and scribers and whatever. So if I was scribing, I'd bring that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd lay out everything in front of me. I would also knoll my runners alphabetically. I usually stick them inside the box top. Though I got at home, I got myself. Oh God, I can't remember if it's G Star or whatever. The very basic sprue holder.
Actually, I think you gave us a picture of it earlier. I could pull it up if you want.
Oh, sure. Like, there's
so
no
bam,
and
right
and so I always arrange my stuff alphabetically as well. Makes it easy. Oh yeah, it's behind the
I'm just gonna move us a little bit just so it's a bit better.
Right now, it's actually got that's actually today. There's the box on the right hand side with all the what I would normally bring around, and this is what it looks like. So this is my dining room table, because that's where the TV is, and that's how I, one of the reasons I'm so bloody slow is because I'm watching TV instead of actually building as much. Those are there's some plot plate in different thickness over there because I'm going to be building today a replacement shoulder thing for General Grievous so he can wear a custom cape I'm going to be making because if you see that black egg-looking thing on the cutting mat, that's the top of the Grievous's cape, but it's hard plastic, so he can't. Okay. If he's wearing the cape, he has to be hunched over.
Well, he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Is he always hunched over when he's in
I
the cape?
don't know. He doesn't need to be. I think the whole point was that in the movie it was a story thing that he's always crouched over. You think he's not a bit badass, and all of a sudden
he throws his cape and then
goes off. The 4 lightsabers come out, and he's dangerous. Yeah. So this is
sorry. When I imagined you said like, "Oh, I'm always distracted from watching TV," I'm just like, I just imagine you watching This Is Us, crying into your
God,
parts.
No! I can't. You couldn't pay me to watch shows like that. I'm usually when
and then like Adrian's like calls you, "Hey Matt," and you're just like, "What is it?"
No. I tried. It was okay. No explosions, no spaceships, no dragons. Not for me. And
what is this?
Or police procedurals are okay too. Though most of the time when I'm building is
This Is Us. It's like a
drama, hold a bunch of families, and it's just
real life problems, and it just gets too real.
Yeah, and it's like. What's the
apparently the show Euphoria? A lot of one of my sister's coworkers, her daughter told her don't watch that because that's exactly what's happening in high schools currently.
Yeah, I would like, hope not because that's kind of
Well, it's kind of terrifying when your own kid says that to you.
And I think the kid is exaggerating a little bit, but who knows?
Depends where you. No, buddy. I went to an art school. No, not far off. Like, we had a teacher get arrested in the middle of the school day because he was in a relationship with other students.
Yeah, that's always classy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey,
Adrian.
Yeah, no. Most of the time, I'm basically watching documentaries and whatever not, so I can listen more and watch what I'm building. But yeah. And in terms of, you can see that it's not a pristine, clean kind of setup. It's a mess. It's just everything that I'm using at any given time.
Mm-hmm. Well, isn't a build setup a reflection of your mind?
Totally.
So your mind's like what absolutely fucking chaos.
Well, and at the table. Originally, when I started working on my dining room table, I didn't. It was going to be a sort of a temporary setup, so I sort of like started taking more and more space, and I used the paper there. It's basically like craft paper. I got a roll of craft paper that I picked up from whatever art store, or from dollar store, or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's just a big ass roll, whatever, 1 meter wide or whatever, or probably less. And I used that also to line my spray booth, so that I don't make a mess in the spray booth. Yeah. And the craft paper is really, really handy.
Yeah.
And the jumbo box top from Cheerios is for gluing, so I don't make a mess of stuff over the nice cutting mat.
Okay.
I've actually screwed up a cutting mat because I was using a saw over it and I cut into the cutting mat with the saw.
Yeah.
I screwed mine up by accidentally dropping some thinner on it, and now there is a mug-shaped hole where all of the marking, the measurements is like there's this one void, this purple void in this cut, and it just looks ugly. I was like, all right, whatever.
You just did that. You're like,
yep, exactly. Okay.
Adrian, what's your chaotic
this
life
one's
like?
mine. I don't know if you guys can see it. So this is actually.
We can see it behind you as well.
Yeah. So you know that it's mine. I have everything I have in my room, and I decided to build a all-in-one because of space constraints. And as you can see here, I have at the back, I have in one of those Costco industrial power bars. I don't use the two lights because they can't pivot to where I need them to be. But it does provide me with outlets for these two IKEA lights that I have, which are outfitted with blue light from, like, not the color blue, but like sunlight color blue. So because when I was hand painting at first and I had the yellow light, it just completely was not what I wanted to see. Like, the light completely changed how it affects it, and so I'm like, yeah, that's really important. So the next day I went out, got these two. Or one of them, and then I got another one later. There's also a Mr. Super booth there, just because I also do my airbrushing. Yes, I have a mask. And right next to it...
Guys, for context, I'm a safety guy.
Yeah, so right next to it, you see all my Mr. Hobby paints. I have some stuff stashed at the back that I have extras of, right? Like extra bottles of thinner, extra bottles of paint, whatever. I stick them in the back. Right below the power bar, it's just like an assortment of containers divided neatly into, like, you know, either some special metallic paints, abrasives, and, you know, building supplies. Everything in its place, but each cabinet, it's also a little mess on its own, so I wouldn't say it's perfectly organized.
Well, it's your build set, if it works for you.
Yeah. At the bottom right area, I have my airbrush area. So below that, there's the compressor sitting on the floor. And what's not pictured here that's out of frame is a Google Home, which I use to listen to music. I also have a TV actually above right here that can be seen throughout the entire room. So if I actually have to, you know, do stuff, I could just sit here, do whatever, and then just turn and watch TV as I do it. Yeah. It is all... Yeah, keep going.
No, go on.
I also have a paper towel dispenser right below where
I was just about to say. I saw that when you backed. I was like, "Oh, nice towel dispenser."
I actually,
You know you're an adult.
I actually installed that.
Towel dispenser inside you.
As I said, it's an all-in-one, right? So that's one of my favorite things of this is this stupid paper towel dispenser because it's great. Love it.
You always need paper towels.
Huh? Always, right? Especially when I'm painting, because my dump bucket's right below me as well. So all I got to do is I don't even have to like put the towel on top. I could just rip it out, just clear it, and then just drop it in there, and I'm good.
Man, I remember back to masks. I remember when we first started talking about airbrushing. One of our friends was like, this is before Tom, some guy at the build room, he's like, oh, I wear this when I paint, and he had an N95 mask. Now, class, an N95 mask is good for particulates, dust, shit like that, asbestos even. However, we are painting with usually lacquers, acrylics, or enamel paints. Those are vapors. What do you need? An organic filter, the black charcoal one. We literally had friends inhaling their paint because they didn't know they had the wrong type of mask, and this one conversation somehow led me giving a 5-minute lecture on how to properly fit a mask to your freaking face and what type of filters you need and how long that filter will last. Fun fact, your filter will last. You know you need to replace your filter when you can taste it. Taste what it's filtering out.
Yes. Also, continuing on. I have a piece of dollar store Bristol board that I put underneath everything just to not ruin this block of wood that I'm using as a desk. By the way, this desk is a block, as I said, is a block of wood with 2 sawhorses. So very, very minimal. If I were to do this again, like let's say if I were to move and I had more money, I would actually try to make a standing desk.
Really?
Yes, I would actually love...
Like it automatically.
Well, no, even just the IKEA button ones, because every so often, sometimes I just want to stand up to do stuff, right? Like you get tired, your butt gets sore from just sitting down. I use this office chair too, right? So it's a mesh cushion type deal. So, but if you spend more than 4 or 5 hours doing something, like hand painting or airbrushing, then yeah, you're gonna want to stand up sometimes.
Well, you stand up, you stretch, you do something else completely, and then you go back to sitting. I don't know. I am not a fan of stand-up desks, at least not yet. I'm too used to sitting on my butt. It's bumpy that way.
There's a stand-up desk I saw they were selling at Costco, actually. It was pretty cool. It's funny because every guy who walked by the desk would automatically stop for at least 5 minutes
to play with it.
To play with the fucking thing. Yeah, because this thing was cool. It had it had lights to show you the time and shit on it. A nice drawer with dividers built in so you could organize it and your stuff. And they had USB ports to plug in your devices into. And people were just basically staying beside going like this.
Yeah.
Just watching it go up.
Do you remember how much it was?
I was just about
what, 300?
$300. That's
not that bad.
Yeah, that's decent.
Yeah, it's not a big desk per se. It's not huge, but it's enough to do shit. Like you can have a simple office space on it. And a couple of knickknacks.
Yeah, actually I still have more stuff to describe on here. Right above the I don't know if you can see it clearly on the picture, but right on top of the power bar there's an actual boom arm. And that boom arm is actually, I put a webcam there for when I was streaming so that you can get a bird's eye view of what I was doing with just my hands. Which...
So it's working with hands.
I actually want to try to do some tutorial videos later on in the future. And that is going to help out a lot. And is there anything else left on... Oh, yeah, and one more thing in the future that I want to do is, since this power bar is being suspended via a wooden frame, I was going to put, those action bases number 5 and 6, where they have the little arms that rests on a pivot point or something, just so that it can stand. So I was going to line up the back of it with all of those hexagon plates, have them together, and then screw them down and level them so that I can actually have an area to put some of my mobile suits as I'm looking at this stuff.
Nice.
Right.
Though they're going to get, unless you've got some UV protectant top coats.
Oh yeah, that's all I use, is the UV protected top coats. The only thing I was afraid of is the spray, but it's far enough that it's not going to be affected that much.
Yeah, and you'd hope that your spray booth is taking care of most of it.
Yeah, it is. Well, I'm spraying exactly in there.
I learned the hard way how UV actually damages plastic because I used to have an HD 00 riser. I realized after a bit, the kit was on where the kit was displayed. The sunlight actually obliterated the color inside the clear plastic orange part for the riser.
And
I was like, that's what sunlight does. And that's why you keep your harness.
Yes, I do. That's exactly what I do.
Oh, and it can do more. It could actually turn your plastics to practically powder, but it can completely degrade the plastics. But,
man. Oh, man.
like I've got all my ancient DVDs still sitting in a shelf that's exposed to the sunlight, and all the spines of the DVDs
are all destroyed.
The plastic has basically just crumbled. So if you take this CD out, the entire back of the plastic is open and sort of flaps around. It's just this.
Oh no!
I got to get rid of all that stuff anyways. Just.
Funny thing. Sometimes when I build, if I'm like building, like say a Gundam seed kit, for example, let's just say that. If I happen to have another Gundam seed kit that's related to it right by it, I'll just have that sitting there as well as a little buddy.
No, it's fine. It's weird. You're not the only one. I do that. Where the hell did I get it?
Okay, so I'm not crazy. Crap, okay, cool.
I don't bring stuff out that's related or whatever. I guess I have desk buddies everywhere, and actually just there's something sticking around. But usually whatever I built last, or if I really like the look of it, there's your
Adrian's little fun fact, guys. That is my
little mascot.
That is his account icon for Roll20.
It's my little mascot, the little Zaku one.
Should we talk about that now or no?
Yeah, might as well. There's only all of our stuff's done anyway.
All right, so fun fact, guys, we've been ironing out for the past few weeks.
Well, actually, almost 6 weeks now.
6 weeks, so a couple months on doing a Dungeons and Dragons, but Gundam themed. And again, for some reason, I came up with the title that we're going to use. Instead of Dungeons and Dragons, it's going to be Gundams and Dum-Dums, because that's what we
Okay, so counter name. What about Mobile Suits and Morons?
Yeah.
Does it rhyme, though?
It has the Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons doesn't rhyme, bro.
Well, I thought Gundams and Dum-Dums. I thought Gundams and Dum-Dums were funny.
Up to you.
They both. It's the same joke with both of them. It is. Both of them sound good. You know what we'll do?
We'll roll off for it.
We'll put it to a vote.
We can put it to
a vote.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Robots and morons. No.
That is completely fine. Actually, we'll work on your stuff later. Do you want to explain, Matt? Do you want to explain what has been going on then in the campaign so far?
So basically, the idea is that instead of doing 2 podcasts a month, we're going to do 1 podcast and 1 D&D game, or basically Mobile Suit Gundam 5th edition, because it's basically D&D 5th edition rules, but with an overlay of Gundam. Mm-hmm. And specific rules to Gundam as well. There's if you look up Gundam 5th edition, it's the first result that comes up. I think it's like 1 or 2 guys that have been doing this whole time, and it's quite impressive what they were able to pull together. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be the game master, and we will have fun. So actually, in order to get everybody,
just a small thing. When this goes live, then on YouTube, I shall put a link to the thing, to the RPG, if anybody else wants to check it out, right? Because it needs to be seen, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It deserves more.
Yeah. and if you're into role-playing games, by all it's and you already know the 5th edition rules, it's so easy to adapt. We're going to be using Roll20 to play it online, since we're not going to be able to play together. Roll20 is designed for basically to interface with D&D 5th edition or Pathfinder. So we're not going to be able to use Roll20 to its fullest, because the rules and the character sheets don't plug into Roll20. But it's still we'll still be able to have the general playability of it, but we have to do the math ourselves,
which is
before the rules.
It's not that big of a deal.
Which is why we're called Gundams and Dum-Dums.
So
for now.
But yeah, it's the group has gone through training, as actual EFSF recruits at a training center, and that was how we got everybody up to speed with the rules and to figure out how to play the game. And well, the story will begin I guess in a couple of weeks is when it's going to be posted. So because we're not going to be streaming it live, because it very likely is going to be sort of like 3 hours, and we'll be able to edit it down to something like 2 hours, I'm guessing.
Maybe even 1.5. I don't know, because that's a lot of like. I'm guessing because there's going to be a lot of downtime in terms of like calculating and general meetup stuff, right? So
yeah. So we'll see how it works itself out, because generally there is sometimes the conversation in between the action or the role playing is also fun, and so that's the plan for what we're going to be doing next. We'll still have virtual build days. So basically what it's going to end up as is a day like today when we have a podcast and virtual build day afterwards, and the other Saturday is just going to be a virtual build day with the game posted on YouTube, since we're not going to be streaming it live.
Actually, what we could do is while we're doing the build day, we could actually put up that video as we're on one of our screens, so that the people can watch as they build.
Yep. So
I'm just waiting for that one guy to just put a comment on that video, just go, well, actually.
Well, there's going to be a disclaimer that this is if you want to nitpick, this is an alternate universe. There you go.
Yeah. Because
it's more about having fun than being absolutely.
Well, we did have a house rule too.
Okay? Like I literally
right?
rolled last week to throw myself down the stairs because we were still in the sergeant.
Yes,
that was great.
And that's part of the fun. That's the role playing part. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. So, so hopefully it'll be fun. We'll hopefully pull it off, and it won't be boring.
We shall see. Well, I'm pretty sure we'll do fine. Plus, there's.
But I know we've enjoyed ourselves playing, so I don't know what it would look like as a viewing experience. Yeah. But the one thing I know is that as we go along, we're probably going to get better and more proficient at playing the game.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
See, that's what you believe, and hopefully we do.
Well, you've figured it out. At first, you were like, I don't know. I'm feeling dumb. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. It's like, well, just read that. You read it. You did it. So.
I'm like, do I roll this? Yeah. Okay. Cool. This. Okay. Sweet. Actually, I just want to jump back to it earlier. Adrian, you mentioned your Google Home, right? Like, you play lo-fi? I'm guessing you play lo-fi hip hop or something like that.
Oh, whatever
the hell.
It just depends on what I'm feeling.
Sea shanties.
There's some days I do sea shanties. There's some days I do rock. There's some days I have pop. Like, it just depends on what I feel like, right?
I can't play certain music because if I play early 2000 throwbacks, my build session is done. Because next thing you know, I'll be like, oh yeah,
I do that too. But I still friggin' I still I would still build with that. Music just goes louder just when I'm using the airbrush. That's all.
Oh, you know what? That reminds me. Our missing friend Jason. Fun fact, guys. When we were testing out the virtual build days in the beginning. Every now and then, this guy would mute himself. We're like, what the hell? Next thing you know, we see a Dyson just go across his table.
He had a little mini Dyson that he's able to clean his desk with. Pretty awesome.
He literally uses a Dyson to clean the nubs off his desk, which is
actually that's also another thing I just recently bought for the desk, and actually for my room in general. It's one of those mini desk vacuums that JB brought over one day at the build day, and I bought one for myself for $15-20. One of the best things ever.
I've been using the Plasma Kojo build workstation recently. Basically last year my company gave me a Christmas check, and any good millennial, I spent a little bit of it on personal selfish items. Yeah, and then was the build station.
Nothing wrong with that.
Honestly, it's been helping with keeping things clean. Obviously, it doesn't catch all the nubs, because some nubs, no matter how carefully you cut it, it goes.
Yep.
But most of them just fall down, and I just go pull out the drawer, just dump it out at the end. And honestly, it's been great, and it holds up my manual and everything. The only thing I don't like about it is like it has a little thing to hold your nippers, but that thing never works. It's just a waste of plastic for that piece.
That's unfortunate.
But I found out though I can actually put most of the main tools I use inside of the drawer of that thing. So if I want to move my build setup, I just put parts back in the box. I don't even have to pack up my tools into my little pouch here. I just put what I need into the drawer, just walk it out.
See, I don't use a vacuum. I just have a it's a tiny little dust pan and brush.
That's what the build room has.
Yeah.
Dust pans.
Well, they have proper size ones, but this one is like the size of your palm. It's on my picture.
Yeah, they have.
No, they have
a pink and a green one with the
like,
smiley face on both of them.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they literally went to Omomo. They went to Omomo on Highway 7 and bought them.
Though I don't toss.
Well, the build room's a storage room right now. Let's be honest.
I actually don't toss my.
Sprue bits?
Yep. I've been collecting them, and I shall continue collecting them because I have a little secret plan for them in the future. It shall be part of a base. No. That'd be.
Oh, okay. I want to kind of guess what it is. It kind of makes me feel like you can collect a whole bunch of them and make one of those like stone flooring. So what you do is you would toss a bunch of them. Either go on top with some sort of epoxy until it levels out, or put cement glue on top of it, just like a small layer, wait until it dries, and just start sanding it all down until it's level. And then you would get like little bits and speckles, and it would look like a nice marble pattern.
No, actually, that's a really cool idea.
I'm pretty sure someone has made a skateboard out of runners.
But yeah, it's one of those like old. I think it's like I don't remember what it's from. It's like old Italian flooring or something is like that.
Yep.
It's one of those building techniques that looks amazing but costs a lot because of the amount of labor involved. So
and extra material too.
Yeah, it's just rocks.
Speaking of
all
runners,
of it is just rocks and concrete.
I don't remember if you guys saw this, but I know Bandai, they started a recycling program at hobby stores. So essentially, they set up these collection bins for all the runners and stuff. You can like dump them into, and Bandai would basically go collect the plastic and just melt it back down into making other kits.
They don't have that here.
Yeah, I've actually so far I have kept all my
hobby
runners.
Building is a very niche.
I haven't.
Honestly, guys, let's be honest. Hobby building in the West is still a very niche hobby, more so in Canada than I find in America, because Bandai actually sells Bandai there because they have the numbers for it.
Yeah.
We don't.
Well, they're not selling all P Bandai, some P Bandai stuff.
Sell P Bandai. We're getting the leftovers. Let's be honest. We're getting the sloppy seconds.
So far, like I've been collecting all my sprues. Like I don't think I'll ever do. You know, I wish there was, if you remember, about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe even more, but somebody made like a 5 or 6 foot Gundam out of sprues.
Yeah.
Out of like the runners, glued together into the
generic shape.
Shooting up. Yeah. And I thought, wow, I could make something out of runners one of these days, and
of course, as per Matt's
yeah, well, like one thing that I saw and I do plan to do, and I'm basically just stealing a guy's idea. He took a Millennium Falcon, the little mini vehicle collection ones.
Yeah.
And he took the long sprue edges. Basically, he found white ones. Like I can use white ones too, but I'm probably gonna paint them as well. Yeah. And he basically did a standing frame, sort of like it's imagine you have two C's, like the letter C, and so they're here, and then he connected those two C's with the white sprues, in different positions, longer, shorter, and whatever. And then it sort of goes, it creates sort of like a half pipe on the side. So like, instead of a half pipe this way, it's a half pipe this way. And you put the Millennium Falcon inside it flying, and it looks like the Millennium Falcon going to light speed.
Yeah.
And I definitely am going to do that.
Can you make it go plaid?
Oh, yeah.
Go plaid, please. Yeah. Someone make a Winnebago with wings and make it go plaid. That would be awesome.
It actually has been done. It has been done.
Thank God.
I need a picture of this after.
I need a picture of that. A Winnebago going plaid. Dave, no, not the Winnebago. No, the Winnebago.
Well, so it's the
whatever hell the spaceship was. The
spaceship. The oh god.
It transforms the Statue of Liberty with a giant vacuum.
Yep. She's gone from suck to blow. It's a line from the film.
Yes, Spaceballs.
Yeah. Adrian seems to be confused.
No, I know where it's from.
Dave gone plaid.
Yes. I know.
Sure, we're next doors. Let's take a 5-minute break. Yes, sir.
Smoke if you got a punk.
Yes. All right.
Oh boy, yes, good.
Ludicrous speed.
Oh dear.
Sir, you really should see Phil. Don't tell me what the book.
And as always, we can see where the chaos comes from, and it's a good chaos.
Yes.
Because now I want to do the. I'll just stop. Because the very next thing I'd be doing the Mel Brooks lines and okay, my favorite Mel Brooks line from that movie is, it's the president of the Empire or whatever his name is, like, why did anybody tell me my ass was so big?
So big.
So good. Okay.
Well,
is this thing okay? Yes, sir. Scotty beat me up twice last night. It was wonderful.
Well then.
So we got distracted. We were talking about sprues.
Yes.
That's right. And a big thing that can use your sprues for. They are also, the diameter is 3 millimeters, which is exactly the same size as all the
small pegs.
Pegs and holes on your Gundam and 30 initial. Yeah. So you can actually use them as connectors, and I've done that a lot. So.
Yeah, I've done that too to like fix something. I'm like, oh, I need a peg. Hey, I don't know, I'll cut this runner, sand it down a bit, and.
Or if you need, like, I've done.
Pinning it, right? With
pinning for one, but actually, what I've done is I've taken up to say 2 or 3 inches and connected things through other parts, so it looks like it's actually glued. The parts are glued together, but it's actually an inner structure, almost like a little skeleton, skeleton. So
I've been using a lot of magnets in my more recent customs because, like, I remember when I made my first custom, I discovered the magic of using a drill, like the Bandai Mr. Hobby drill bit, hand drilled, and I was like, 3 meter pegs. Holes everywhere. Then I realized, I could keep it clean with magnets. And then the second custom ever made, most of the weapons and some of the armor parts are held on by magnets.
So
we take off the weapon or anything, it's just a clean surface, but it's full of magnets on the inside.
So my introduction to magnets was from Warhammer, and only because, as everyone knows, it's extremely expensive, and magnets actually cut the cost of your army by a lot, because a lot of play groups there, or some play groups for Warhammer, they would say that everything has to be WYSIWYG, or in this case, what you see is what you get. So if you glue a certain gun on it and you don't like using that gun, well, I guess too bad. You gotta use it, right? So what we would do is we would just magnetize it so that you could swap it out for something else when the time comes. And I did a bunch of that with my tomb blades, and those are like these giant Egyptian flying space toilets that have different types of weaponry at the front.
Wait, why Egyptian space?
I have no idea. They're supposed to be
Necrons. He played Necrons.
So they're supposed to be speeder bikes, but they looked exactly like toilet seats for some reason. And I think in like 5th edition or 6th edition or 7th, I forgot which edition they're on right now, but they got bumped up by a lot, so I bought 2 sets. And they were just going around destroying crap like no problem. It destroys scouts like no problem.
And if you're ever looking for lots of magnets, because magnets can be expensive, yes. Amazon, it's basically they'll be shipping them from China, mm-hmm. But you can get 100 or 200 little magnets for 12 to 15 or 16 bucks, mm-hmm. depending on the seller and who's got mm-hmm. what. And it's even cheaper than some of the guys on eBay. Mm-hmm. So,
duly noted.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's just about time. It's like around 3 right now. Yeah.
Like I was sort of full screen, so we can look at the little pictures we had in there. It's craziness.
Yeah, time goes by quickly. So, any last words for this? Nothing really. Nothing.
Enjoy your building. Do
avoid greasy foods.
Avoid greasy foods. Keep yourself hydrated.
Yes.
But don't spill. Yeah, don't spill your drinks. Don't spill your glue.
Oh, also as a side note,
close the lid on your glue. We talked about.
Remember what is in your paint jar, or always use another container to drink from that is not in a similar color as your paint jar.
Yep.
Wait, has that actually happened to you?
Not me. Other people.
It does happen. It's never happened to me because I use, especially your brush cleaning thing. Some people use a mug.
Yeah.
And
no, I literally have one of those. I use this Gaia jar. Thankfully.
Yeah. I got one of those plastic, basically from Michaels or from whatever, where it's a plastic cup with a special lid. That's got inside it. There's a little flip top that you can put your brush in and then close it. So if you spill it, it doesn't go all over the place.
Because
I'm paranoid about spilling stuff.
I just use my soap cup. There's a little.
I mean, I've had the experience. I told you guys last time. Like, I sprayed tool cleaner all over the model, one of my model kits, and I had to repaint. I had to basically strip it, reprime it.
I'm surprised that thing did not become wavy afterwards.
Yeah,
I'm surprised too.
Because it could have melted the plastic completely. Yeah.
Well, I think because I was using white paint, so there was like so many layers of paint on it. Like, the thing is, white paint, I hate using white paint because you gotta use at least minimum, my experience, 3 layers of white paint just so it does the primer.
Well, it depends on what you're covering, but basically the easiest way to deal with that, prime it, and then add so gray primer, whatever, and then use a white primer. Depending on what if you're using Mr. Hobby, then use the 1500. Yeah. And there's all kind of like Steinel resin, all the other guys, Vallejo and whatnot. They have black, gray, white primer, But like whenever you have bright colors like red. Red especially is a pain in the ass to do white over top of that, and that's when you do gray primer, white primer, and go with white.
I usually used gray primer. That's probably why. But anyways, I think the excessive layers of white paint saved the plastic, but.
And did you catch it? Like, did you just notice it fairly quickly and rinse it off?
I caught it the moment it happened. I was like, fuck.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's why the plastic didn't get. You got it in time.
I was using the cleaning jar to spray tool cleaner through the airbrush, but then I slipped.
Yeah. Craziness.
And spilled something.
Anyway, we should start our build day soon. So thank you for all those who are watching and have watched us. And have a good rest of the weekend. And we'll see you next time.
Indeed. Come build with us.